want to talk about your career for a minute. There are some key moments in your career that I've always loved. And from about 2005 to 2009, you were starring in a lot of horror films. And
Yeah.
I'm a big horror film guy. I love horror films. I love what they stand for culturally and what fears are at the time. But then I know you did The Intruder in 2019, but
Mm,
it appeared that you stopped doing horror films. And I wanted to know if you consciously walked away from horror or
no,
like, pulled back from it a little bit. I just wanted to know. I
no.
was curious.
I'm just waiting for the next one.
Ah.
No, honestly, like Halloween 4 and 5 is really what cemented me wanting to be an actress because I was 9, 10 when those things came out. I was the same age as the little girl who played Michael Myers' niece, Jamie. So the scenes that she'd be doing, I'm like, oh my God, I just want to do this. Like, I just want to be stabbed in a movie and like fall down some stairs and like, something like that. And I've always felt like that particular genre is the most heightened with your senses because
Mm,
you're trying to survive. And
mm.
I think you kind of go through all these different emotions from, being afraid to, finding your strength to fighting back to feeling broken down to whatever it may be. And I just love all those colors that you can bring in a horror movie because you can't just do it one note. You can't just be scared the whole movie. You got to find all these different things to pop, all over. And so I just love that genre so much. I love scary movies. It just makes me happy. I don't know why, but it just makes me so happy. So I'm just waiting for the next one. Actually, me and the director from The Intruder, Dion Taylor, have been talking about another project that we're looking at doing that is going to be very fun and scary
Oh, love it,
or
love it.
thrillery. This
A thriller. All right, so I know you get this all the time, but forgive me. I love Eve's Bayou like the rest of the world
Thank
does. I
you.
think it's one of the best films of all time, of
Thank
all
you.
time. I really do. And of course, you were 14 years old when you were in Eve's Bayou. Considering we're in Oscar season right now, a lot of folks, this is before social media, I can recall when Eve's Bayou was famously snubbed at the Oscars, and it was a
Mm,
big conversation in black media at the time.
mm,
And we're still seeing that happen today.
mm-hmm.
And I was just curious, do you remember those conversations back then when you were 14? And what are your thoughts as far as where we are today with the way the Academy Awards looks at black work?
I mean, I think there's a lot of people in there kind of fighting the good fight. Whoopi is a part of the academy. My ex-husband's a part of the academy, and they're having those conversations internally about changing things around. But I don't remember at the time with East Bayou. I was so young and,
Yeah.
still kind of like learning about the industry and all those things. And so I think that we've gotten better, but I still think that we have a long way to go. And I think that at the end of the day, we just got to keep fighting the good fight and continue, not just the conversation, but for those conversations to keep delivering, tangible, touchable things that are changing. And so, I think we're en route, even though we got work to
Yeah.
do.
Any memories of Diahann Carroll from Eve's Bayou?
Yes, what's crazy is because I was so young, I didn't really understand what Diane Carroll
Mm.
was, the powerhouse and just like the beast and what a huge deal it was for this beauty icon to now come in and like ask, can I just paint my whole face white and let's do like some
Mm.
voodoo makeup and like all these things. And so it's like now in hindsight, as I venture into my 40s, I get so excited because I'm like, ooh, what am I going to be doing at like 50 or 60 or like after I have kids or
Wow.
after, whatever it may be. I get excited about all the different like phases that I will be able to go and get into as I age. It's very exciting for me. So I just remember Diane Carroll being lovely and gracious and really wanting to like sink into this character, and everyone was shocked. They were like, are you sure you just want to like do your face like this?" And she's like, "No, this is exactly what I want." We were just like, "Wow."
Wow, that was her character choice to have on the white face makeup. That
Mm-hmm.
was her
She
choice.
didn't come to
Wow.
play, baby.
What an That's incredible. You had that experience from, like you said, this beauty icon at
Yeah.
14, so it would affirm you as you
Mm-hmm.
go into your adulthood. That's
Oh, for
amazing
sure.
to get
All
that.
of it. Even seeing Casey Lemons,
Yeah.
it was my first like big movie. And it was a black female director. So I
Yeah.
just thought there was a bunch of black female directors. I didn't know I was looking at a unicorn at the time.
Mm.
And so what that did for me was, really in hindsight, looking back now with the directing that I've been doing and how much I love it, it just told me that that was possible whenever I got to that point and I wanted to do it. It just was completely tangible to me because that's one of my first examples.
Can we get an Eve's Bayou sequel? You and Journey? Come on now.
We've talked about it a lot. We've talked about it a lot, but I think sometimes when something's so special, I don't know if it's
Right.
a good idea to touch it. But that would be up to Miss Casey. If she ever said she wanted to do it, I think all of us would jump on board. So
Oh, that would be you and Journey. That would be amazing.
I
I could
love
see it. I could
Journey.
see it. Okay, so speaking of sequel, what is a movie that you've been in that you would like to see a sequel to outside of Eve's Bayou?
I mean, I do think it's time for another Think Like a Man.
Yes,
I'm like, let's
yes,
go for three
yes.
for three. So
I love it. I love it. I love it. I've always been curious. Are you interested about doing behind the scenes work as well? You know, Halle
yeah,
Berry did that recently a couple of years ago.
yeah.
Do you see yourself doing behind the scenes work, getting behind the camera?
For sure. Tyler Perry's company just started a new initiative where he is giving money to young black artists to make the film that they want to make the way that they want to make it. And so me and Terrence J just finished a film together that I directed and starred
Oh,
in,
nice.
and Terrence co-starred in, and he produced. And it's like a really cool cast with Paige Hurd and D. Ray Davis and Tip is in it, and I mean, it's a very, very cool movie. So I'm actually in the process of editing that now.
Nice.
But that was fantastic. And then I directed the second episode of Harlem,
Hmm.
and I'm super duper proud of that. And directing is truly my happy place, and so I can't wait to do more of it.
Do you have a dream project you want to do? A dream project, dream biopic that you'd want to do?
Maybe Eartha Kitt. I mean, for a
Oh
long
my
time,
gosh.
yeah, because I love what it's so funny because I was just talking to Tyler, my castmate, last night about this specifically because I was saying I loved kind of how she said compromise. Compromise for what? For what?
Yes.
For who? Like, and I was like, I get that because to me, I just feel like when someone genuinely loves you, I think compromise is a natural thing, but I don't think it's something that you should be asked to do. I think it should be an authentic thing that you want to do that is not expected of you. It just happens naturally. And I'm a big believer of just letting people be exactly who they are, the fullness of their authenticity. And I think that's because that's what I desire as well, but I think everybody deserves that. And so I really identify with a lot of Eartha Kitt's ideals. But I mean, initially the biopic I wanted to do was Aaliyah, and then I got too old for that, and then I
Mm.
wanted to do Whitney, and I pitched it to Whitney, and I was supposed to
Wow.
pitch it in person after that, and she passed away 2 days before the meeting.
Wow. Wow. But
Yeah.
Eartha Kitt's story is absolutely
Yes.
incredible. The whole world needs to know that story. She went
Yeah.
through a lot. She came from poverty, became a superstar. I mean, that's a really powerful story. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. You and Hallie team up. You and Hallie team up and
Look, come on, Hallie, why don't you come direct this one?
exactly. Exactly. All right, listen, I want to thank you for coming on. I interviewed you 10 years ago for Anchorman 2 at Press Junkets. Yeah, so it's super, super cool to have you on my show, and I admire your work so much, and I
Thank
admire
you.
your hustle so much, and I really love Harlem. And it's funny, I was watching it last night, and I'm a bit older than you, but I was thinking if I would have had something like this when I was in my late teens or early 20s, it just would have had me view life differently.
Mm,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
love
Because
that.
I didn't have that when we had, and no disrespect, but we had like Beverly Hills 90210 and some other stuff. I don't know, but like
Right.
as far as the real relationships and how love looks like, and it's not just a comedy, and it just would have had
Yeah.
would have had an impact on me just to see black life being navigated in this beautiful, nuanced, complicated, fun, unapologetic way. So just congrats to you, Miss
Thank
Megan Good.
you. Oh,
Congrats,
that just gave
congrats.
me chills. Oh,
Oh, I mean it. I
oh,
mean
that
it.
makes me so
It's really a good
happy.
show. It's really a good show. So once again, you can watch season 1 of Harlem on Amazon Prime. Season 2 is streaming now. The finale is tomorrow, February 24th. Make sure you check it out and support the one and only Miss Megan Good.